Hello and welcome to the Loresworn playthrough of the Battlefield 1 War Stories campaign. This is the final chapter. Depending on how long the mission is, we might break it up into 2 episodes, but this is the final war story. I am TJ Hafer, and with me is DM Schmeier.
The buff abides. All right. So,
we're taking it.
We're about to join Lawrence of Arabia in his desert campaign against the Ottoman Empire. The sick man of Europe is ill, but we got the medicine. Probably copious ordnance, small arms fire, and Kona cafes.
This is a stiff drink right here. I think this is more alcohol than it is coffee. So we'll see how well I can.
After the day I've had,
maneuver a horse. Yeah.
This is well needed medicine.
Well, we've both been looking forward to this one. Why don't you hit us up with some background? What is going on in the Middle East at this point?
T.E. Lawrence is where I would probably start that introduction. Probably one of history's most remarkable figures, also known as Lawrence of Arabia. The man about which... Yeah, no worries. That's right, I'll put some hair on your chest. The man about which 3 films have been made, one of which is considered probably a top 5 film ever made.
Excellent
by some
film.
seriously respected people.
Excellent film.
He was a child born out of wedlock, grew up from humble beginnings, and eventually got assigned to British intelligence in the Middle East. Eventually, due to another man, a Mr. Newcomb, not showing up to his assignment, Lawrence of Arabia was assigned as the official attaché to Faisal Hussein, who was the son of the Emir of, I forget where, the Emir of somewhere, and tasked with just being the British attaché as the Arab revolt was fomented by this leader. And what we have here is we have the Middle East possessions of the Ottoman Empire are being swept with an increasingly nationalistic sort of, euphoria is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, fever. They've got fever,
right.
And the only prescription is more independence.
Well,
so
because up until the Ottoman dominance, the Arabs had basically ruled the Muslim world since its inception.
Let's be real, are a fairly, as a
Yeah.
culture, a fairly independent people, and they've got that fever. They're burning with the nationalist fever. And so Lawrence of Arabia, he's the doc, and he's writing his paperwork, and he figures that the best thing to do would be for the British to come in on the side of the Arab revolt, help them secure their independence, and at the same time prevent the Ottomans from mucking about in the Suez Canal and giving the French and the British headaches.
It is really fairly brilliant strategy for knocking an enemy nation out of the war without using a lot of your own manpower.
The Brits themselves were not, at least based on what I've read and the perspectives I've read, correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not, I won't say widely, I'm deeply read in this area, but I'm not widely read, so my perspectives may be lacking. But as far as I understand, the British were actually willing to pay lip service and give attention to the possibility of an independent Syria and Mesopotamia. But the French kind of weren't, and Lawrence of Arabia's eventual efforts to convince the Brits and the Allies in general that independent states in the Middle East were in their best interest met with varying degrees of success in stalling. But during World War I, we have this remarkable man, this polyglot, this intelligence officer, become one of the most brilliant soldiers of his era and lead an under-equipped, technologically inferior force against what, even though I would call a second-rate power behind the major combatants of World War I, is still a global power. Definitely a top 10, top 15 nation in terms of the military force.
They're a great power in Victoria II,
Yep.
or at least a secondary power in Victoria II
Yep.
terms, yeah.
So the achievement is remarkable. So we're gonna see what we join him during.
Arabia, an insurgency war was raging years before I got to France. Tribes of Bedouins
1915,
had united to fight a
1916.
war that was very different from the one we fought in the trenches.
And of course, right when you guys
Using
started
small
talking,
mobile
you decided
units,
to make a lot of noise
they
and stuff.
challenged the
Oh, yeah.
might of an empire, and they were rallied around the ideas of a single, influential warrior. Ideas of freedom and change.
All right.
T.E. Lawrence is one of the most remarkable soldiers to ever be born. Like, if you read what this guy accomplished, who he was, it's really staggering. Truly.
Deserts of the Middle East, Arab tribes rebel against their historical oppressor, the Ottoman Empire. To counter the uprising, the Ottomans deploy their most advanced technologies. The Empire's devastating artillery, combat aircraft, and armed vehicles engage rebel forces wielding rifles from horseback. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it.
And guess who got the better of that fighting more often
Yeah.
than not?
Can't confront the Ottomans head on. We must engage in some asymmetrical warfare here.
Absolutely. To think that Lawrence of Arabia assisted with and in a lot of ways spearheaded the eventual fall of Damascus under these conditions is staggering.
A vast
The reason I'm a Lawrence of Arabia fan is that I can really barely wrap my head around who this dude was and what he accomplished.
yeah.
He's one of those historical figures. He shares, in my opinion, he shares estimation with a George Washington or a Napoleon, where it's like, how were you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would have to agree with you there.
I have a fairly high estimation of my own abilities, and don't think I could accomplish a fraction of what he did under the best of circumstances.
Bands of Bedouin rebels have united to overthrow the empire. They strike without warning and then vanish into the desert.
Guerrilla warfare in the
Fighting
sand.
alongside them is a lone British officer, whose exploits have earned him wide renown. The world has taken to calling this man Lawrence of Arabia.
Nothing is written.
In the desert, you rely on good planning, but you also hope for a dash of luck. And luck was with us when we learned of a recently derailed Ottoman train carrying a most interesting piece of cargo. A small patrol had joined the Ottomans who survived the crash. Together, they guarded the wreckage and waited for reinforcements.
Interesting factoid I read on the internet some time ago about Lawrence of Arabia, and read from his memoir, obviously. 7 Pillars of Wisdom, by the way.
Uh-huh.
It's been in print for over a century in most languages. If you have not read it, consider it a seminal memoir, a seminal text, really. I consider that one of those books that people should just read. You know, like...
Right, especially if you're at all interested in this area of history, it's a primary source, which are difficult to come by.
You know, this guy... Yes. Great quote. Do you know that Lawrence of Arabia, personally, according to his memoirs and other primary sources, blew up over 70 bridges in his time? He was a master bridge destroyer.
That is something that not a lot of people could brag, for sure.
The tribesmen fought unconventionally, using weapons they knew well.
I think we might actually stick with the...
Individual intelligence and courage were their primary assets.
What is it? Actually, I wanted to switch back to the...
Isn't that the mouse wheel? V? Or V
Oh,
is
that's
what it
just...
says.
V is to sight.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know if I can switch back to the sword at this point or not. Someone in the comments, let us know.
That's a control we have not mastered yet. I'm looking forward to eventually when this whole moving process and whatnot calms down. We got to play some serious multiplayer and record it, man.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I alerted everyone because I didn't know how to switch back to my sword. So not get on the horse just yet.
Yeah, I would not go mobile. I would take advantage of the fact that they don't know where you are.
Right. And we have a high-powered rifle in our possession. It's a machine gunner. Oh. Had a shot there, but... There we go.
Great shooting, by the way. Ah. You very nearly pulled what would be called the nice, and there's going to be a boom. Or there should have been, had that been realistic.
I think that the grenade physics in this game are not such that a thrown grenade whose thrower perishes will actually detonate if they don't finish the animation.
Okay.
All right. So we can probably
why not?
use that as a secondary means of.
Why not? Yeah. Why? Why not?
Even better. We got an HMG. At our
All right.
disposal.
Shoot them. Shoot them all.
So we went loud on this one.
Yep. This is. We definitely picked.
necessarily
We
the
picked the.
only way
We
to do
picked
it.
up the high chaos playthrough.
But yeah, exactly.
If this were an Arcane Studios game, we would have just guaranteed the shitty ending.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, and everyone you love dies.
You can have fun
and the Arab nations never become independent.
You can have fun gameplay, or you can have a good ending. Not both.
Yeah, that's a little harsh. The stealth and Dishonored
I
still
know,
fun.
It is fun.
But
just
I
wish
prefer-
got
I
to shank
prefer-
more people.
I prefer the sword play,
Yeah.
though.
Oh, and they caught us.
I prefer the sword play.
Think we would be fast enough to catch you here, did you? Lawrence of Arabia.
I did think that. I did quite rightly think that.
Actually, I was rather depending on it. Lawrence. Well, this is very clever. Now the hunter becomes the hunted. So who might you be? How enchanting you are, my dear. Ahmed.
I'll show you enchanting. If it weren't for you, I'd be free.
Free, is it? You'll be free when you're dead. And I'm happy to tell you, the Empire intends to grant you all this freedom very soon. Even now,
What
the engine of destruction scours
What were
this
the
desert,
products or the
obliterating
prospects
your
of
armies.
within the Ottoman Empire in 1918? Did they still feel like they were
No.
gonna come out of this
No, not in 1918.
in
no.
good shape? Okay.
They're imminently finished. In 1918, you have to realize that the fate of the Central Powers is ebbing.
With the ashes, you will all be free.
Their high water mark was definitely 1917, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Ah, you animal! Zara.
Now I understand that you would like nothing more than to strip the flesh from that man's feet and send him off into the desert naked to die. But think about it.
You're right.
I'm sorry. My friend here, she can be a little brusque.
You're going to tell me how to lie to your train, so we can lure it into a trap and destroy it.
Impossible. To even begin to talk to that train, you would need an entire book of communication codes.
I think we have that.
Like this one.
You can never stop the progress of machines. One day, the whole world will take your lands and the precious black gold beneath its sands.
We shall see, my friend.
At least so far, it has not really happened.
Of course, obtaining the codebook was not enough. To destroy this Iron Dragon, this Canavar, as the Ottomans had named it, we had to send it 3 encrypted messages telling it to stand down. There were Ottoman outposts scattered along the railroad tracks. The commanders there carried high-priority message capsules. We had to use those to send our orders. Infiltrating the village wouldn't be easy. A full detachment of Ottoman soldiers had occupied it. The Ottomans had chosen an isolated location for their desert outpost. It seemed lightly defended. It was also well stocked with arms and equipment. The ancient ruins were all that remained of a civilization now lost to time. The Ottoman Empire brought in the modern world with a host of armored vehicles and field guns.
True.
3 commanders to eliminate, 3 personal message capsules to be stolen,
and then sent with our false orders.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it
This is
looks
like
kind
an
of...
open
Tackle
world
this
mission.
dangerous and audacious mission was up to her.
I like this. This is different from what we've played so far. Alright, so we got a weapons tent. Field gun.
You know what I also love too is I feel like this is doing a great job of capturing the feel of desert warfare. How it's all sand and openness and violence.
Right. Okay, so there's an armored vehicle over there. That's gonna definitely give us trouble. Scout these other outposts. Alright, that's an alarm. Can't really see that one very well from this vantage point. Scout the larger village. This is cool. I would play an entire campaign set up like this, where you're like scouting villages, taking them down. I guess Far Cry is sort of that way.
I was actually gonna say this has a Far Cry 2 sort of feel to it to me.
So this looks
Except
like
it's
a
nice not to have malaria.
Right. This looks like a wasp's nest to me. There's lots of buildings, lots of cover. We don't really know how many men are in there.
And it'd be really difficult to figure out how many from out here.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough. So we got armored vehicle, limited intelligence, hornet's nest. Which one of these do you think we should try to take on first?
I would do limited intelligence.
All right, so let's. I've already reconned the Ottoman strongholds.
In real life, I would not say to dive into the unknown ever, but in a first-person shooter, I would say that you're able to react with war hero impunity, and that place is wide open.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take the horse.
It looks like too long a walk otherwise.
Yeah.
And in return, those animals granted their riders unparalleled speed and mobility.
So we want to stay out of any obvious line of sight. Okay, so we got a cavalry saber, we got a rifle.
And what is interesting, and I just want to point out, is that is not all. This is not all too dissimilar from what they had.
It seems like it would be a very interesting way of fighting, because I don't think anything like it has ever really existed. Oh, it looks like they're shooting our buds over there with some artillery. Yeah, the type of cavalry that you see here, with the Arabs in World War I don't think has ever really existed, or did ever exist again, where you had, these rifle-mounted... Using really, they're fairly modern rifles for the time period.
There are weapons from World War I that would be viable on a battlefield today. Not optimal, obviously, but viable.
The U.S. Army still uses a variant of a machine gun that was being developed during the later years of World War I, and the soldiers love it. They like it, using it more than weapons that are far more modern. Alright, so there's another alarm klaxon right there. It actually looks fairly poorly defended. I'm wondering...
I think you're too far away to make that shot.
Yeah. It is a little far. Well, we're running out of ridges to use for cover. We still haven't found the commander yet. Actually don't really like this
setup.
Yeah, I'm very exposed right now. If I were in Arma, I'd already be having a heart attack. Crossing this much open ground without cover.
I would not take a loud shot now.
So, yeah, what I would like to do... First, let's... we might edit this part out, but I want to find the control for, key bindings. How do I get my melee weapon out?
Gadget 1 is 3.
Melee attack, F.
Switch weapon.
I guess maybe I just have to hit F and it'll pull it out automatically. Okay, so I guess I can't actually switch to it. I just have to sneak up behind him and hit F. Once I have any other weapon
Yeah, I would take as many people down with the knife as possible.
Yeah,
I think you
okay.
could probably sneak through most of this undetected if you're very careful.
Yeah, I'm thinking... Well, the commander's probably inside.
Take him.
Alright, just making sure...
Oh no,
No,
you've been seen.
someone saw us.
Alright, plan B. Get in there.
Plan B, machine gun.
Get in there. This is an excellent position as far as being defensible.
Alright, so that was the commander.
Mm-hmm.
He had no one really with him. Where are they? There we go.
Get out of there.
We're getting hit. Where is that
Truck.
guy?
Truck.
Oh, shit.
Grenade.
Shit!
Run! Hit the truck with your anti-tank grenade.
I don't know if I have an anti-tank grenade. I'm gonna
It says G.
play in a scout class. Oh, do I?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, that went way off the mark.
So did that.
Throwing grenades from horseback is not a viable strategy.
Ooh.
That was what we call,
Well, we're gonna need to dispatch the fake message eventually, so...
Oh, do I have to dispatch
Yeah.
it from the base? Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that. Alright, well, fuck it.
That is well said.
Old school cavalry versus new school cavalry. Let's see who wins.
Not you, so far.
So far, it's a draw. I would call that a draw at this point.
Can we take the truck from them?
Holy shit, I just jumped over a truck. This is some serious Arab nationalism on steroids right here. That is shit. Alright, so we're gonna have to get off of the horse. And we're gonna need to like go prone. And we're gonna need to throw this grenade in such a manner that the law of momentum will not
Sit down.
Are we out of grenades?
Probably.
We may be out of grenades.
Alright. Alright. It's alright. It's alright.
Back to the horse.
To the horse! To the horse!
To the horse!
Oh, you are... We can maybe use whatever they're using to blow up that tank.
Oh yeah, that field gun, that atmospheric field gun, seems to be there more to make us feel in danger than it is to actually put us in danger.
Take it. Take
All
it.
right.
Take the field gun.
I actually love using the field guns in multiplayer. Field guns and mortars can be a lot of fun. Alright, so apparently by trying to aim high, I actually fucked up my aim because this is not a realistic game. Alright.
Bye, truck.
So let's go dispatch
This message.
I gotta imagine anyone would be alerted by now. If there was anyone else at this base.
Yeah, including the whole valley, being like, some shit's going down over at that.
Alright. Pigeon, carry our bogus missive to your masters.
A single order wouldn't be enough. Ottoman protocol required the message to be received in triplicate before the train would acknowledge it as genuine.
That seems like a iffy strategy there.
Seems like a redundant security feature, like one
But,
that it's like...
I mean, like, if one of the people that is supposed to deliver orders gets shot, you're kind of screwed at that point, I feel like.
Exactly. It's one of those that, like, on the surface makes for more security, but it seems like I could go wrong in just so many ways.
Alright, so this is... wondering if we can just lob one over. It's worth a shot anyway. Nope, didn't quite make it. There we go!
Oh, snap!
They never even saw us.
Now shoot his ass.
It is difficult to peg a moving individual with a bolt-action rifle.
I don't think you're going to manage that feat.
Alright, well now he's not moving.
Foolish.
There we go.
Foolish of him to not move.
Man, we fucked that thing up good. Alright, so I think that was really the only portion of this this particular installation that we were all that worried about. This is a fun mission. Seriously, like, it's we've talked about how, you know, you gotta appreciate a game that takes liberties with history sometimes, and I think that the excellent mission design in Battlefield 1's campaign makes that all the more forgivable.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a remarkable shooter, frankly.
Yeah. Fuck.
It's like, oh, I'm being shot at. Alright.
Alright, well, they haven't seen us yet. They're just aware that we're... Oh, shit! It's another one of those things. Oh, shit! It's a video game enemy. Oh, shit! There's a sniper's nest. This was a reconnaissance failure! This was an utter reconnaissance failure! Run to the hills!
Yeah.
Run for your lives! Okay. So there's definitely a sniper up there.
He's gonna outshoot you with a bolt action, bud. You're not going to outshoot his ass. You have got to get out of open ground and flank that sniper's nest.
This was like the most heavily defended
outflank
shit.
the snipers and go at it from a circle. Take care of their positions one at a time.
Alright. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it.
You're gonna have to do something about Machine Gun Boy, though.
Yeah, I think we can outrun him for the time being.
Alright, I think you can take out that sniper now.
But the spread on this thing is
wicked.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I mean, that takes care of the sniper's nest at the very least.
Okay, we're getting hit by vehicles with high explosive rounds.
Yeah. Nothing like getting pounded with ordnance. It's lovely.
Holy shit, this place was way more defended than the last one. Is the machine gun dude still following us?
Probably.
Is that him down there?
You're not gonna be able to hit. There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
right.
outshot us.
So
there.
that was the wrong strategy.
Things have been learned.
To execute, to deal with that particular installation. It started off so well, too. Okay, where is it starting us off here? Let's get our bearings. Alright, so this is... Okay, I think this is the one we just assaulted.
We know, I think, the appropriate methodology.
Yeah, so we just need to not be seen. We need to clear the snipers from the high ground.
It was the snipers that really forced us into continuously being in a bad position, I feel like.
Yeah. So, we're going in with a little bit of meta-knowledge. We know where they are now.
It happens.
Yeah.
You literally can only play a mission once.
Yes.
Like, play it for the first time once to finish my thought. My apologies. There's a lot of Kona in this coffee.
Yes. Which could also be a contributing factor to our inadvisable gung-ho strategy of...
The plan was to make our last war story by far the most entertaining. So... here it is!
Boom, boom.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Yippee-ki-yay indeed. If anybody in the audience knows what the Arabic equivalent of yippee-ki-yay would be, that would be...
Allahu Akbar?
See, I feel like that has, that has religious,
True, it
religious
does.
connotations.
It does, quite
I'm
a
more
few of
thinking,
them.
like, what's Arabic for, like, hell yeah? Like, what's the...
Oh, right on. Now you got
Yeah.
it. I suppose mentally I kind of conflate that with bonsai, for example. Or...
Right, yeah, something like that. It's actually a super interesting language.
I think one of the things I find most fascinating about language is words like bonsai, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, just a single word loaded with so much meaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Arabic is a language I would actually like to learn at some point.
I have, Chloe actually has a friend who, I want to say is learning it, if doesn't already know it, and she loves it, and she's brilliant.
There aren't a lot of resources. See, now you've got me thinking about Dishonored. I'm thinking, oh, I gotta hide this body. There aren't a lot of resources available in terms of, like, free internet stuff. Like Duolingo doesn't have it yet.
Well, it's a difficult language to learn.
It is.
You don't find how many people who also speak English do you find who are fluent in
It's
Arabic? I would think that'd be rarer than, say, Spanish, French, or German. You know.
In the classification that the U.S. Diplomatic Service has for determining how difficult it is to teach a native English speaker to learn a language, Arabic is in the top category, which is part of why I'd like to learn it, just to, since it's considered so challenging, I would kind of take that as a challenge. Yeah, it's up there with, like, Mandarin, because it's so different from English in grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, everything. Although we do have some random Arabic loanwords in English, like algebra.
I love that word, too, algebra.
Al-Jabbar was, I think, it was either what he called it originally or it was the name of the guy.
Nice. This is going much better.
Yes.
And that would be... Take that weapon. I think that would be useful.
Than the rifle we have? Yeah, it has a scope on it, so that's...
I mean, I think that's a game changer. You can now pick off isolated individuals. It's loud, though, so I would pick your targets. I would make sure they're isolated, not near any alarm klaxons or...
Looks like... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, do your recon here. You've got to pick off vulnerable targets first.
So that guy's going to take more than one shot, I'm pretty sure. Wait a minute. Is that unmanned?
Ooh, go get it.
Did they really leave an unmanned tank?
Well, we'll go find out.
That could explain why this place is so heavily defended. From a gameplay standpoint, at least.
That would be fun. Wreak some havoc.
Yeah, I love light tanks. I've been playing a lot of light tank in multiplayer because you can just basically spin circles around the heavies and oh, it is not unguarded though.
No, I feel like you're gonna have to probably at least kill a couple of them on approach.
Yeah.
I would plan that sequence well, though. I think this location is pretty isolated, though.
That might be the sole guardian there.
If you can knife him.
Just want to stay out of sight without alerting him.
So if you could be a polyglot like Mr. T.E. Lawrence,
yeah,
what languages would you want to know fluently? And not all of them, obviously.
I have a pretty expansive list because I have thought about that question before. I definitely want to learn all of the Scandinavian languages. German, Dutch. Basically, I'd like to be able to speak every Germanic language eventually.
Right on.
But then outside of that, Probably French, Spanish, Italian, Latin. Get my bases covered with the classics. Maybe
You're going from polyglot to
Greek.
super genius at this point.
Yeah. Arabic is definitely one that interests me. Korean interests me.
I was gonna say Korean is in my top 5.
Yeah. Let's see. I know there's others.
You know better than-
Celtic. I'd love to speak Irish.
You know better than to
Welsh.
leave a
Gaelic.
viable vehicle to oppose you, right?
Yeah, I was waiting to see if I could lure anyone that was going to try to come and get
Be a
into
hero.
it, but yeah. All right.
All right, now let's see Mr. Machine Gun Guy do anything about us.
Yeah.
I welcome the
Pretty
challenge.
sure the shockwave from these high explosives would have killed them with that near of a hit, but are you serious? I'm just gonna run this fool over.
Oh, ow. Uh-oh.
Our treads appear to have taken a hit. Alright, that is an anti-tank grenade, so we're gonna
That was useful while we had it.
vacate the premises here.
It was useful while we had it.
Oh shit, somebody
Run.
is
Run. Someone's firing very well,
firing
so run.
from a field gun up here that we can possibly commandeer to make the rest good on the remainder of our objectives.
Heck yeah.
This is a scoped machine gun. I like this a lot.
Pretty wicked spread, though.
Yeah. Alright, let's make them regret their lives at the... Oh, did somebody actually got into that tank that was about to blow up?
Smart.
Well, it wasn't necessarily smart considering I commandeered the...
Wow, okay, so this version of the assault, our first one was a disaster. This one is going off literally without a hitch.
So I have no idea where the commander is. I guess we're just gonna search these tents.
We know he's in flight. Or he would be if he was
would be,
intelligent.
We already have a really good weapon, so I don't need... Maybe under all the red flags, I assume that might be where a commander would be located. Nah. He's brave, I'll give him that. Alright. Ain't nobody's business but the Turks.
It's
Or so
Istanbul,
they
not
say.
Constantinople. Yeah, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Actually, the original Roman name for the town was actually Byzantium. Constantine, I think, had it
Which is
changed.
why we call it the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
Yay, obvious history anecdotes.
Actually, I think it was originally a Greek name, probably. I think it was Byzantion was the original.
A single order would be enough. Ottoman protocol required the message to be received in triplicate before the train would
That was
acknowledge
the
it.
second one. Final Ottoman stronghold. Okay, so we're doing the objectives correctly. It's just that Lawrence's dialogue is a step behind us.
Yeah, if I could be a polyglot in, let's say, 5 languages, I think I would do Korean, Arabic, Japanese, for sure.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of culture to love there, and I'd love to speak the language enough to allow me to...
My sister is basically fluent in Japanese.
And I'm extremely impressed.
Yeah.
I am not.
I think I'm a cowboy this morning.
German, because that's where my family's from.
Yeah.
It's literally where my mom is from.
It's a tricky language.
Let's see if I've got one left in my polyglot fantasy. I suppose I never really think past the top 4 there. You know what? It's probably Spanish. Spanish would let me help a lot more. Spanish would probably let me help a lot more people in our own country.
It's kind of the unofficial second language of the United States, so...
Well, and I mean, when I think about all the clients I could help, when I think about all the people I could help that I can't now.
We're going total cowboy here. I don't know. This is
We
this is
just
gonna be a good-
just mule kicked 2 flamethrower guys
Good plan,
in the
yeah.
flame pack,
Yep.
causing them to explode. That was an anime moment right there. It's like super horse jump attack power, sure kill shot.
Yep. Let's go ahead and reload our rifle while on horseback.
Because that's a thing that could happen.
That's That's some
Not just
serious,
well on
like,
horseback, well riding at a fairly high speed.
Mongol level shit right there.
You're gonna have to go chase some of these guys. I think you've done enough damage that you're not really in danger anymore, though, frankly.
Yeah, I think we've kind of dispersed them. Oh, come on. Move out of the way!
It's like, nah, I'm chill.
I'm good. I'm just gonna hang out
It's
here.
like Casey the horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick up that satchel.
There we go.
Now find that pigeon.
Yeah, I think all of the rest of these outposts are kind of pushovers compared to the one that gave us trouble. That was the one that was actually set up intelligently as a defensive military outpost.
And had a lot of support.
Yeah. They had snipers in the right places, they had guns and vehicles in the right places.
Oh, not good.